Welcome to Growing Younger Health and Fitness podcast designed for people over 40.
Hey team, how you doing? Gavyn and Alex here from Growing Younger. So I've got Alex on with us today on a really topical kind of subject around arthritis and like what kind of training should you do if you have arthritis. Now, it's a really interesting thing because we get lots of people at Growing Younger with arthritis, and that's kind of one of the biggest questions we get. And the answer sometimes isn't quite what you think it is. So I'm going to ask Alex, what is the answer to this question, mate?
Well, look, first of all, can I just address this question by saying that so a lot of people with arthritis, particularly in their sort of knees and hips, they think they cannot train at all, or they've been told that they cannot train, and a lot of people in this situation, they might be carrying extra weight, they're trying to lose that weight, get fitter, and they're under the impression that they cannot train. So, in vast majority of cases, yes, you can still exercise, and in fact, you should be exercising because not only it will help you lose weight, but also condition your muscles and make, unfortunately, you can't reverse the arthritis, but you can, by strengthening the muscles around the area, you can actually improve the pain and the symptoms. Okay. So what types of training can you do with arthritis? So generally speaking, if we're talking about the legs, so like knees, hips, ankles, and lower back, you pretty much need to pick the ones that are very, very low impact. Okay, so examples of high impact would be running, jumping, doing burpees, star jumps, that kind of stuff. So it's definitely something you don't want to be doing, and you should stick to things that are sort of slower, more controlled, no little impact, but things that are still helping you strengthen your muscles. Okay, so a good example would be cycling. Okay, so stationary bike. So it's a pretty much no impact activity, but it still helps you strengthen your quadricep muscle, which is very important for stabilizing and supporting your knee joint. So a lot of people don't realize that bike is pretty much one of the best exercises if you have a lot of knee issues, but particularly if you have arthritis in the knee joint. Other examples could be just doing some resistance training. So in the gym, you could be doing little sit to stands, squats, leg raises. So there's a number of exercises that you could do with very little impact. Now, obviously, it also depends on your level of pain and your level of fitness. Okay, so if you're someone who is, have difficulty getting out of bed because of the pain in your knee joints or your hips, obviously you're going to have to start at a very low level. So you could be doing things like sitting on the floor and maybe just tensing up your quad muscle and just lifting your leg up. So obviously, that's something I would have to show you how to do. So if you want to see some examples, you can head over to our Facebook page, Growing Younger, and there's a few videos there. I show you what exercise you can do to strengthen your knees. So yeah, that's generally, I guess that's in the general way. This kind of hopefully answers the question. So very much low impact activities would be suitable for arthritic pain.
That's good. So that's really interesting as well. And what we tend to see anyway, and you'll have more knowledge about this, but people when they start exercising during that session, the joint becomes less painful. So could you explain why that happens?
You mean like while they're exercising?
Yeah. The pain dissipates a little bit, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. So there could be a couple of ways to explain it, but probably my main explanation would be. So arthritis is an inflammatory condition, okay? So which means that inflammation kicks in when you're not moving, okay? So that's why a lot of people with arthritis, they get pain at night. So when you're sleeping, it might wake you up because the inflammation, the swelling kicks in when you're not moving, okay? Another good example would be, so if you ever sprain an ankle, it's not too bad at the start, but you wake up the next morning and you can't put any weight on it, okay? Because when you're not moving, the inflammation kicks in and it makes it really painful after that sort of period of rest. Okay, so why people? Yeah, so when you're exercising, essentially you're moving. So actually that helps to get the blood flowing and kind of warms it up. so it reduces the inflammation. So literally when you're moving, you're actually pushing the fluid, you're pushing the swelling away from the area, and therefore it makes the pain better. Okay, so that's just one way to explain it. Another way to explain it is just simply because pain is very much a subjective, it's a very psychological thing. So if your attention goes elsewhere, okay, so if you're focusing on how to do the exercises, on maybe you feeling a bit exhausted, your attention goes on that, not on your pain. So therefore you kind of forget about your pain in a way, okay? Whereas if you're staying home the whole day and all you're thinking about is the pain, you're going to feel more pain, okay? So that could be another way to explain it.
That's really interesting. Yeah. So I guess the moral of the story is just get moving, isn't it? Get moving. Because like you can't do any more damage to it, can you? I mean, within reason. I mean, if you're doing high impact things, maybe, but if you're doing the exercises you're talking about, you're not going to make the arthritis worse, are you?
Well, generally no. Like, and look, don't take this as a personalized advice because you still need to follow what your doctor tells you. But generally speaking, if you let me explain arthritis a little bit more. So you've got in the joint, you've got a bit of lubrication, so you've got cartilage, okay, and it's like a very smooth covering of the surfaces in the joint, okay. So over time, that cartilage gets worn out. So you get essentially, instead of having two nice smooth surfaces, you're getting like sandpaper against sandpaper, okay. So they start rubbing against each other, they start catching, and that's what causes the more damage and then causes inflammation and so on, okay. So if you're going to do more weight bearing stuff or even impact things, like it's probably going to make that, that whole process advance further. So you get more breaking down of cartilage, but essentially the end point, unfortunately, if your arthritis is gonna go that far, you'll probably have to have a knee replacement or joint replacement at some stage.
Sure.
So the end point is still the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with exercise, you don't want to be speeding up that process too much. But at the same time, if you strengthen your muscles around the area, and if you can do it in such a way, low impact, that it doesn't actually do too much damage to the joint, you're actually slowing down the further breaking down of the cartilage. So it's a kind of like it's a bit of a complex one. It's a catch-22. So if you do too much exercise, high impact, it will speed up the breaking down of cartilage. If you do the right type of exercise, it will actually help you build muscle and slow down the further sort of degeneration of the joint. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, no, good. You have the balance, isn't it? That's
exactly
the balance. Yeah, it's cool. And speaking to a professional that kind of knows about that, because like you'll have uneducated personal trainers and some physios that will get people doing things like F45 and CrossFit, and it expedites the whole thing. Whereas I guess, shameless plug in what we do at Growing Younger, because we do understand this stuff, we can actually help people in a more meaningful way as opposed to just doing burpees.
And look, the other thing is, very important. I mean, it's important for anyone, but particularly if you have bad joints, your technique has to be really, really good. Like that's why getting a personal trainer who's going to kind of check on you is very important. Because one of the things that I've worked in a gym environment for years in the past, and like I've seen it many times when particularly older people, they do squats and they get, they bring their knee right over their toes, and then you can kind of tell they're in pain, but they keep doing it anyway, so, and no one is there to tell them, okay, hey, stop, like just let me show you how to do this properly, okay? So yeah, technique is key, and also use your pain as a guide. Like if you do an exercise and it just, the more you do it, the worse it becomes, and it progressively keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and then you go home and you're sore for another day, something is not right. Okay, so that should not be happening. Like if you get a little bit of pain when you start, and it warms up and it gets better after a while, then that's fine. That's probably just part of the process.
No, that's actually really awesome. So I learned a lot, which is good. So hopefully you guys did too. So guys, thanks Alex for his time for that one. I mean, if you got any questions around that, obviously you can leave comments and stuff on below. I think you can. We can hit us up and we'll do our best to help you. But apart from that, have a great day.
All right, take care.
Okay. Okay, guys, so I hope you found the podcast of value. If you did and you're struggling with your own health and fitness journey, there's a link in the description for a free discovery call with me. And that free discovery call, we're going to cover off a little bit about you, your history, your goals, what you want to achieve, and maybe we can help you or not with your own health and fitness goal. So if that does sound like something that you'd like to do, then click on the link in the description, and I look forward to chatting to you in the very near future. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.